Hey there, HR reps, to my leaders and executives alike. Today's training trend video is being filmed right from my car. I'm in transit, but wanted to get this video to you guys today. And so with that being said, we're going to dive right in. Today's training trend is in regards to training for prevention. Over the past couple of months or years, however far back you want to go, we've actually had a number of incidences happen throughout the world. So one of the biggest ones was the issue that happened, the discriminatory issue that happened with Starbucks, and how they had to then shut down all of their corporate offices and bring all of their leaders in for training in order to rectify the situation. And so I want to challenge all organizations to get to the point to where you train for prevention. There are a number of things, there are a number of precedents that have been set throughout the world that you can actually look at to begin to identify opportunities that would exist within your organization and begin to build and train your team, build trainings and train your team accordingly. And so, for example, let's talk about, things like discrimination and diversity. So diversity training has been a thing since you can remember, but now that looks different because of all of the laws and things that are in place as a result of now discrimination looking a very different way because there's so many means by which it can happen. So with that being said, what are the opportunities for discrimination within your organization, within how you serve your customer base? Begin to look at those. Look at how, even from the standpoint of your customer service, how do you handle customers? Are you in a high traffic area where you have tons of homeless people, where that could be a thing? Are you in the retail industry, even from the standpoint where Walmart had an issue from throwing away food, and they actually have a number of homeless people in their area. So even looking at things like that, how can we set SOPs and how can we train our team members accordingly as to avoid and prevent these type of crises from happening in our organization? So I really challenge you guys, whether it's diversity, whether it's social issues, whether it's politics, how do we handle during election times? How do we handle talking about politics? Do we talk about politics? And if you're engaged in a political conversation, how do we get out of that? Like, there's so many things that are impacting industry that haven't in years past done so. And so it is critical that your diversity training addresses things like even obesity now, because fat shaming is a thing, right? Harassment in the workplace. What does that training need to look like now that, there's so many, bullying in the workplace is a thing, right? It's always been a thing, but now it's been highlighted. So what does that training look like for your organization? I really challenge you guys to get ahead of the curve. Because now that we're dealing with technology, things that happen on a small scale can now be magnified, and it can go viral, and it could ruin an organization. It could tank your organization before you even know it. And so I really challenge you guys this year for your training trend, get ahead of the curve, train for prevention. Okay. With that being said, you guys have an exceptional day, and we will be back at it. We're going to jump into a leadership series here coming up next, and we're going to talk about the critical components of leadership, how to train divergent leaders that actually fuel creativity and innovation and productivity and performance within your organization. So with that being said, you guys have an exceptional day, and we will be back at it tomorrow.